Hey, welcome to another tutorial from trainingps.com. Today we're going to try to recreate the Nick logo that you see on their website. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go up to Photoshop File, New, and create ourselves a new composition here. And what you're going to need for this is the Nickelodeon font. And I did a quick Google search for Nickelodeon font, and I believe it was defont.com. It's a free download, and so you can go ahead and grab that for yourself and then hit play again. But once you get it, hit the text tool, select Nickelodeon, and we're just going to type Nick, and we'll bring this down so we can see it. Select the letters. We just want to pick ourselves a nice orange like they use. Say OK. Now we need to go into 3D with it. We're going to go 3D, Expose, text layer, say yes. You'd notice the depth of the text itself is way too big compared to what they have on their site. So we're going to take it down to about 0.21, and then we're just going to leave everything else right now alone and say OK. There we go. Now we want to be able to see the ground and all the other little options that we can tweak. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to select one of these tools down here. Any of them, it doesn't really matter. And at the bottom you're seeing an eye with like a little grid. You want to click on that. Make sure it says show all. That way you're going to be able to see the ground plane, the lights, and the axis. Sorry. So once we have this, we want to go to our light. It's going to be the fourth tab over, filter by lights. Select our first light. Make sure you're on the lighting tool here to rotate. And we're going to grab it and we're just going to tweak it. And what you're going to notice is you can see the shadows on the letters, but you're not seeing any shadow on the ground, and that's because we have to turn an option on up here under 3D, ground plane shadow catcher. Say OK, and once we do this, we're going to notice when we go into how we render the quality to ray traced draft, we're going to start to see these nice shadows on the ground. And what we're interested in is this light one to start, and it's going to give us a really nice look. It's going to get us really close to that Nick shadow that they use. What we're looking for right now is the shadows on these letters here. We want them dark. So we're just kind of bringing them around, but we don't want to lose the shadow that's behind it. So let's go ahead and select light number 3, bring it on around to the front, and match that up. There we go. And then light 2, it is over in here. We're just going to kind of tweak it so that it darkens these letters up on the side. Now we're getting really close. What we want to do to these lights though is we want to soften the edges. It's way too hard. So we'll just start with light 1. Under create shadow, we're going to take the softness to 25. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for light 2. And the same thing for light number 3. There we go. And now you can see it's much softer the way it's approaching these edges. Now we're almost there. What we can do to really get that look though is we can come over here to our options, and under the complete scene, which is the first tab, we can come down to each of these materials And if you have it selected, you can, by all, we can see each of the areas that it's going to affect when you click on these areas here. And we're going to go ahead and increase the refraction to 2. We're going to take the shine up to about 15. Oops. We're going to take the reflection up to 10. That's starting to look really nice. We're going to do the same thing to the second option here, reflection to 10. Getting a little ahead of myself. Shine to 15. And there you have it. We're really close. We can tweak the lights a little more if we wanted to really get that shadow to be exact. But for these purposes, I'd say we're there. The only other thing I can tell you guys is if you want to tweak the text, we can come to this, come over here to these tools on the side and pick the third one. That's your material, like the meshes, and we can just click rotate. And if it's not lining up right, you can just click on it here and you can drag it just to tweak it a little bit. And that's it. One other cool thing we can do, if you'd want, is we can come over here to the 3D Nick layer, double click it, and we can add drop shadows. We can take the distance down and the size down, and then we can just pull it up just a little bit, like that. There we go. When you're ready to do the final render, you go to the complete scene, take your quality to final, and it's going to take you a little bit to, depending on the speed of your machine, to render this whole thing out. But as you can tell, recording some 3D in Photoshop doesn't have to be complicated or hard. Just following a few simple steps and you can recreate some really cool effects. So until next time, this is Training PS, and thanks for watching.